Yeah. Roll it up. Turn it up. It's Alabama folk. Jack, Jeff, Trev in the booth. Yeah, you already know. From Tuscaloosa nights to the Saturday lights. Breaking down the tide. Every wrong, every right. Got the insight, fire, and the Bama pride. When the Crimson's on the line, we alone for the ride. Bama voices on the call. We gon' break it all down. Roll it up. From the rumble in the trenches to the kings of the crown. Roll it up. Yeah, the tide runs deep and the show runs strong. Jack, Jeff, Trev, keep it rolling all season long. Every snap, every play, every headline drop. If it's Bama on the field, you know we never stop. Fast take, big stakes, tide talk all day. Alabama by CFB, we don't play. Christian spirit in the air, let the good times flow. Times flow. Roll it up. Only one place to be when you love.
Good evening and welcome to episode 49 of Alabama Primetime Live from yours truly, Jackson Johnson and Travion Ware, as we are presented by FanDuel, all right here on Alabama, the voice of college football. And we've got some great topics for you tonight. We'll be talking a lot about Carmelo O'Neal, our take on the Greg Burns, John Casano interview, Marquise Mace's take on the coaching staff, and some recruiting updates, which include Amir Brown and Duke Duncan. And let me tell you something, folks. You're going to be in for a wild ride and a good time for a long time. How you doing tonight, good buddy?
Doing good on this on this Tuesday we got here. One day closer to the football season. So, like we discussed last night, we getting closer. We crawling closer to that start line, and I'm feeling good though. Seeing some additions to the Alabama coaching staff as well that have been announced today, and that's also a good sign. And so taking everything in stride, but definitely doing good today. I got no complaints.
Oh, there we go, man. And I got a feeling this first topic is going to make it even better, because we'll be starting off the show with Carmelo O'Neal, talking a little bit about him. And as you stated yourself, Travion, he is the underrated. He could be the underrated ace in the hole for the Kane Womack defense heading into the 2026 season.
Yeah, most definitely. And I said that because you look at his size. Forget that he played at the FCS level. His size translates immediately to this Alabama defense that can help them in immense ways. Being 6'4", over 225 pounds, he's one of those players that's not going to pop up on the initial depth chart. He's not going to make national headlines by the media and get any preseason awards and anything like that. But he's one of those players that can step in immediately as a sub on this Alabama defense and make some things happen. You often tend to see these defensive coordinators have a player up their sleeve in their deck or whatever. They often tend to have them that a lot of people don't know about. And I definitely believe Carmelo O'Neal fits that mold. We're talking about a dude that played in the SoCon conference last year. Over 2.5 years at Mercer, he had 56 total tackles, 39 solo, 11 pass breakups, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble. So the production with the size is definitely there. So I'm definitely excited just to see how Kane Womack can find ways to get him on the field, because he's one of those players that you're probably going to have to get on the field. And we're going to look at the film and tell you exactly why. He can play multiple positions. He can play the safety. He has ball skills to play the cornerback position as well. We see him lining up against Alabama in 2024 at the cornerback position. I think that's him versus Josh Cuevas. No, that's him versus Emmanuel Henderson, former Alabama receiver, went to Kansas. But he's one of those players that you can move around the defense and create mismatch nightmares for the opposing offense. And like I just touted, literally, you can send him on blitzes. He's one of those players that likes to hunt. He's one of those players that plays with an aggression and speed that you cannot coach. So I'm definitely like literally when I was writing that piece, I was just imagining all the things that he can do, all the things that Coach Mo Linguist can put him through, Coach Kane Womack can put him through, the safeties coach can put him through. he's somebody that can come help and run support as well. He can give a player like a Bray Hubbard or Keon Sabb. He can give those guys some breathers when they need it. He can also line up at the cornerback position, like I already said. He can give Dijon Lee a breather or Xavier Brown a breather. He can play in that at that Husky spot with Red Morgan. In Xavier Mincy. He can gripe about the only gripe that some people might have about him is where the interceptions at. But he impacts the stat sheet in various different ways, like literally. So the fact that Alabama was able to get such an underrated talent like Mr. O'Neal, I think it's just going to speak volumes, because we've seen how Kane Warmack can just develop players, get them to play higher than what their initial play level was. So I'm definitely just excited. Like I said, you can just line him up anywhere, man. And I definitely think in tackling, which was something that Alabama lacked in physicality last year, he can definitely bring that physicality from a defensive back standpoint. So I feel like they're getting an Army Swiss knife in Carmelo O'Neal, and I'm just ready to see it materialize.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be awesome seeing what he can bring for the Crimson Tide defense, especially heading into 2026. Because it's like you said, he's kind of bringing that Swiss Army knife material on defense. Like, man, I would not want to go up against O'Neal, like especially if I'm going against Alabama in 2026.
Yeah, and then just on top of that, of course, he's a depth piece, but like I said, he's more than a depth piece. He's a player that can answer questions before the questions are even asked. He's a player that can bring his presence in that defensive back room and help some younger defensive backs like a Chuck McDonald, like a Ivan Taylor, Jordan Edmonds, whoever you like to name in that Alabama defensive back room who is young, who is looking to see how to play the right way. Carmelo O'Neal's your guy. He's a player that plays the right way, and it's no surprise to me that he kind of outplayed the position, the competition at the SoCon level, and now he's looking to make a big jump to the SEC on Saturday. So he's going where the competition and this is only going to make him better. So I'm really just waiting to see just how he looks in camp. Obviously, that's going to be a big factor in how he gets on the field. And another thing, you can put him on special teams. He's going to be a player that can go run down there, make the tackle, no problem. He got the speed. He can play sideline to sideline. Anything you ask him to do, I'm very confident that O'Neal can do it. So this is one of the underrated signings that Alabama made in their transfer portal splash this past January. But I think it's going to go a long ways. It's definitely going to be very impactful for Kane Warmack when he likes to switch stuff up and, not lose cohesion on the defense. I mean, sometimes when you put a starter when you let a starter get a water break or whatever, and in that water break, you're kind of worried about, dang, what the backup going to do. But O'Neal with his instincts and high level IQ, I definitely think that they won't miss a beat when O'Neal's on the field for whoever he's taking out. So that's why I took the time out to write about him, because he gonna fly under the radar. Even though I put him out there yesterday, he gonna fly under the radar, and then we get around to September, October, November, people gonna be like, oh, that's Carmelo O'Neal. That's who Trey was talking about. That's who. Yeah. You just got to look around, man. He's one of the ones, man. I'm definitely excited just to see him get with a place with other athletes of his caliber. Because, like I said, I feel like he outplayed the SoCon. So so getting him up here at the SEC level, getting him that experience, and seeing him hunt, it's gonna be a sight to see. So I'm ready to see it.
Yeah, and honestly, it's gonna be awesome seeing what's gonna happen. Like, I want to see him be able to return some punts. Honestly, like that'll be fun. Like, and it's gonna be fun seeing what he can bring in those first 5 games of the 2026 season.
Yeah, see, I hadn't even thought of him in that light. I mean, I just look at him just how aggressive he is and stuff like that. He seems like the more of the striker type. He seems like the more of the player that'll come down there and strip the ball, take the ball away from the punt returner. But I mean, if he has that in this game, hey, I'm ready to see it. So I definitely think he's a multifaceted player that can do some different things and put his hand in different places and make an impact. So it's just gonna be another player that I got on my list that, hey, I know that he gonna do what he got to do. So I'm ready to see.
True. It's going to be fun seeing what's going to happen for the Alabama Crimson Tide defense heading into 2026.
Yeah, like I said, especially when you got players like that, players that a lot of the national media don't even know about. It's just going to be fun to see all these different players pop out and do their things. And O'Neal, he got 2 years of eligibility, so he gonna get that good experience this year. And coming, I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but he getting that experience this year, and he can be enrolled for a starting job next year on that defense, possibly with obviously this the last year of Bray Hubbard and Keon Sabb, but he can definitely play his way into a starting role. So I'm ready to see him do it.
For sure, man. Like it's gonna be awesome seeing what happens. And even though we've got some good things heading up in college football for the Crimson Tide, tomorrow night is going to be against the Arkansas Razorbacks, and our friends over at FanDuel are letting us know who's got the better chance between the Crimson Tide and the Arkansas Razorbacks. And the odds have Alabama as a 3.5 favorite against the Razorbacks. Whew. I guess they're getting tired of Calipari too.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good one tomorrow. Obviously, these teams are trying to gear up for March, so these games are pivotal, very important games. And you look at on both sides. Obviously, Alabama got LeBaron Philon, they got Aiden Sherrill, they got just countless other names on that Alabama in that Alabama backcourt, at the wing position and stuff like that. So. But then again, you look at Arkansas too. They got Cutcliffe, one of the most talented guards in college basketball as well. And of course, they got Calipari. Coach Calipari is one of the best coaches in college basketball to ever grace the hardwood. So it's definitely going to be a matchup from a coaching standpoint. It's going to be a matchup from a player standpoint. But if I had to lean on some picks in this game, I mean, I don't want to be a homer, but I definitely think Alabama defends home court tomorrow. Tomorrow against Arkansas. But to get into some of these player matchups, I would say Cutcliffe off of Arkansas. I definitely think just from a basketball standpoint, he's going to be a problem a little bit for Alabama. So I would probably put him down for like maybe a good 15 points. Also, Philon tends to get hot from three a lot, but he affects the games another way. He's able to assist the ball. He's able to rebound and stuff like that. So on FanDuel, they also got a player's PRA. That's points, rebounds, and assists. So, I mean, if you want to alt that line, you're looking to get some action on Philon, you could probably put his line at probably a good 21.5 or something like that. I know those odds are probably low, but it's safe. I mean, I'm just promoting some safe betting right now. I mean, if you ride with me, I might put you on something crazy. So, but it's definitely going to be a good game tomorrow here in Tuscaloosa. I'm ready to see it. Definitely looking for some fireworks out of both squads. Hoping that Alabama continues their winning ways. Right now, they're on a 6-game win streak, I believe. So just hoping that they can continue and can keep up the good work as they edge closer to March. But we'll be watching it. We'll be cheering on from the side, and we'll just see what happens.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure, man. Tomorrow night's going to be really fun for the Crimson Tide against Arkansas. And we also had a lot of fun watching a little bit of the Greg Casano interview, where where one of the parts of the interview was where he was just kind of taking the high road on Bruce Pearl, because I don't think I would because he's much nicer than me because I don't think I would,
You know,
honestly.
he the AD, so you know he got to keep professional at all times. I mean, I probably would snap back too, but put the video up there for the people so they can see what we talking about. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
definitely a lot of layers to that video. Greg Byrne said a lot of things
here we
that
go.
you know, people might misconstrue the wrong way. People might say it's coaches talking, stuff like that. But it was a lot of a lot of layers.
Your basketball coach Nate Oates had some criticism from Bruce Pearl.
Then they make a decision. Nate said he'd play him 100 times again. What it tells me is that Nate really doesn't care about the SEC. He doesn't care about the NCAA. And it's fine. You're going to care about your student athletes. That's fine. But you're a member of this conference and you're a member of the NCAA. What about the rest of the team? What about the rest of the players? Why should those 5 teams have had to play against an ineligible player? And I think it was selfish and I think it was wrong.
You have thoughts on that?
You know, the Bible says, "He who is without sin shall cast the first stone." And so I try to do my best to. I'm not perfect at it, but I try to do my best to live within those parameters.
Are you saying Bruce Pearl has some sins?
We all do. Longer you're in this world, it doesn't matter. You're dealing with 650 young people. You're dealing with 350 employees. You're dealing with a lot of fans that are passionate about college sports. You're going to have challenges. That's part of it.
Oh, man. I will say that was funny. It's like throwing stones at glass houses where it's like, no.
Yeah. And please don't hide your hand after you do it. But no, I definitely can see why Greg Byrne took the high road. I mean, obviously Alabama has taken a lot of backlash for the whole Bediako situation, and but my thing is this: it's not like Alabama is the only school that has done it. But obviously, when you wear that script A on your uniform, it brings a lot of notoriety and attention. Some could be warranted, some could be unwarranted. But obviously, the NCAA has come down and has made their ruling, and the fact that Bruce Pearl is still talking. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's somewhat got a lot to do with the Alabama and Auburn rivalry, just all together. But at the end of the day, I mean, everybody's looking for ways to make their team better. Everybody's looking for ways to get an advantage any way that they can in the legal way. But you know, it was legal all the way up until the court took it away. And you know, Alabama, like I said, and I just continue to harp on this. Alabama is not the only school that has done it. I mean, aside from them wearing the script A, why is that situation the more magnified than other situations? Because we got situations like at UCLA. UCLA, I forgot the player's name, but UCLA has a player that used to play at UCLA about 2.5 years ago, and he ended up going to the NBA as well. I mean, Bediako played in the G League. This player, he played for the Charlotte Hornets, and he actually logged real minutes in the NBA game. Bediako did not, and he is fighting to come back. I don't know how that case is going because I mean I haven't really kept up on that. But still the same. A lot of people have not made as big a fuss about that as they are with that situation going on with Alabama. But you know, and I don't mean to be redundant when I say it, but it's got something to do with the script A. Obviously, when Alabama does something, it's a problem. But when nobody else do it, it's not a problem. And I don't want to sound like a fan. I don't want to have my fandom too much in it because at the end of the day, right is right, wrong is wrong. But you know, these situations continue to happen because the NCAA has not set a proper precedent for the rules set in place. You know, you got rules here, you got rules there, you got rules over there, you got rules over there. But nobody has officially set the proper rules in place to allow these situations not to happen. I mean, if y'all don't want it to happen so bad, those rules should have been set in concrete, and they weren't. So unless the NCAA gets together, you know, NCAA is year round. So I mean, I don't know when they'll have time to get together, but obviously they meet. So the next time they get together and meet to get these things to stop happening, they got to have a serious sit down. I feel like with all 16 teams, athletic directors, and hash everything out, and so that this situation doesn't happen again. Because the way that they are painting Coach Nate Oates to be out to be the bad guy and stuff like that, I think that's kind of crazy. I mean, because if the situation were reversed and it was another school, I mean, this can't be proven, but I just don't think it would be leading ESPN how it was leading ESPN about 4.5 weeks ago. I mean, obviously, I focus on the football side of things with Alabama, but I just felt the need to say that because I just think it's kind of crazy. But life ain't fair, so
No.
it is what it is. But I mean, obviously, he won't be suiting up tomorrow versus Arkansas. I'm just hoping that on Selection Sunday when Alabama has their bid out in front of those committees that they are not punished for that. But that's yet to be seen. We'll see. Obviously, they got to finish out the rest of the season. Obviously, they got to end on a strong note, do some damage in the SEC tournament in March.
Don't have Alabama play Florida in the SEC tournament.
Man, I ain't gonna speak on that because I mean we saw how that game went down a couple weeks ago. I mean, but you can't pick your competition. You got to play who's in front of you. So I mean, if it does happen that way, that'll just be on coaching. How can the coach just stop Florida from scoring 72 paint points? I think it was a couple weeks back. I mean, obviously Alabama shoots a 3-ball a lot. But you got to get some success inside. So we'll see. But that's just my take on it. Like I said, I'm not a basketball guy. I pride myself on football. Football, my number one sport. But it's just interesting to see how in the world of athletics, when it comes to Alabama at the college basketball level, college football level, track, whatever sport it may be, baseball. The magnifying glass is bigger, and people were just saying that because Nick Saban gave them a great platform. I mean, the platform was already there. They had already won a championship before Nick Saban had got there, but he magnified that platform, and now Alabama is the model of what a lot of these college athletic programs want to be. But you see now when things aren't as hot here in T-Town, the shots come flying. But, you got to take that. I mean, when you've been chased for so many years, people don't hesitate to take a shot at you when you're down. So it is what it is. But good luck to Coach Nate Oates and the basketball team tomorrow. Hopefully they defend home court, like I said, continue their winning ways. But that's pretty much all I got on that.
Well, and also they talked a little bit about NIL, and they talked a little bit about how the job of an athletic director has changed over the years. And they even talked a little bit about the hiring of Kayla DeBoer when it happened.
Let's get to the football. We got to get to the meat and potatoes and now the football. Let's go.
Oh, here we go.
You're 18 to 22 years old.
I think it's there somewhere, but there it is.
Both places are great. They both have their strengths, and certainly been very fortunate to be part of the Pac-12, Pac-10, and now the SEC.
How did you know Kalen DeBoer was the right guy?
Well, the day I got hired, I'm getting close to a decade here at Alabama. I got asked 9,000 times, what's it feel like to be the guy that's going to hire Nick Saban's replacement? And I always I go with that was a very easy answer. We're going to kick that can down the road as long as we can. But eventually we knew that time would come. The last couple of years, and Coach Saban's talked about this publicly, he and I would get together and he started telling me he wasn't sure how much longer he was going to go. He wanted to keep that quiet. When the time ever came that he did retire, he wanted the team to be the first ones to hear it. But he basically told me, I want you to have that in your thought process. So we had been studying the market, paying attention to it, just like you always do. And really about, I think when Kalen went from Fresno to Washington, he got on my radar screen. He was at Fresno. Jeff Tedford had hired him as the offensive coordinator, which Jeff Tedford is one of the best football coaches I've ever worked with. And I've been fortunate to work with a lot of really good ones. And then then Kalen left, came back as the head coach after Tedford retired, and then when he went up to Seattle, and so some of those, whether it was Jeff Tedford or Chris Peterson at Washington, I talked to Mike Bellotti, I talked to Rich Brooks, and when you talk to those people, you'd work in conversations about coaches, not giving them any idea that they were really on your radar screen. But as I talk about Kalen DeBoer to those people, it was like, my gosh, the guy is a great football coach, and he is a really good human being, and he's the kind of guy you'd want your son to play for. And I do believe this thoroughly, John, in today's world. Now, people would want your son to play for Nick Saban. Nick and Miss Terry are as good at people as you'll ever meet, and they cared about the young men in our program. I also think in today's world, if you have somebody that the families can know that their son or their daughter in the women's sports are going to be led by really good people that are going to push them, hold them accountable, care about who they are, be great coaches, that will be a very positive impact on the decision making, and not hopefully, because you can't have a locker room of just kids that all they care about is how much money they make. It's got to be a balance between making sure that you're competitive in that space, but at the same time too, you got a culture that you're gonna want to have a kid be a part of, and I think that will be the difference maker. And you watch how we've been doing from a recruiting standpoint. I think you're seeing a lot of fruits of that labor that I think will bode well for us in the future.
My perception at that time was you probably had 1 million people asking you and giving, hey, you should look at this guy. What are you going to do here? Did you have to go in hiding when you're making that hire, or how much did you have to shut down? And did you look at other candidates, or were you just locked on to Kalen and this, you wanted him from go?
Well, over the course of the time, probably the last 4 or 5 years, we researched about 24 coaches and tried to background on them and understanding without ever tipping our hand that we were even doing that. And so part of the plan, and the day before Coach Saban retired, he and I spent an hour together, and about halfway through our conversation, I said to him, Coach, this is more serious than we've ever had. I assume that you'd be disappointed in me if I wasn't prepared. He said, absolutely, I would be. I said, well, I need to talk to you about what's next. And so we started doing that, and I obviously wanted his input, wanted him to feel good about it. Shame on me if you don't ask Nick Saban, right, on thoughts on that. And then part of it, at that point, the rules changed since then. As soon as a head coach leaves, the portal opens up for 30 days at that point. And so every kid on our roster was basically a free agent. And so were we prepared for that? I told him, I said, Coach, we got to move quickly. Told him I walked him through a list of a number of names and said, here's why I like this person, or here's why maybe this doesn't make sense right now. And we were on the same page with that. And then I said, if you do retire tomorrow, I need you to support me, and because I'm going to tell the team I need 72 hours to go find a coach, and nobody go in the transfer portal. And it was all part of our plan that we had put together. And he said, no, that makes sense. And so when he got done telling the team he was retiring, I went up on the stage and I said, guys, give me 72 hours and I'll have your coach. Nobody goes in the portal. And I think we had one kid go in the portal during that time. We had some kids go afterwards. But our roster stayed together pretty well considering. So,
was it that dicey? Like where, if you're going to retire tomorrow, or was there still some thought that, hey, if he changes his mind, you have to let Nick Saban when he's going?
That was his decision, right? Yeah. All we wanted to do is support him, and he was great. And so during that time, was I in hiding? Yeah, I was, but I was, Seattle's a long ways from here, so I was on an airplane a long time. And I really, John, I didn't look at Twitter. I don't read message boards. I just knew I didn't need the outside noise to distract me, because you go through these things, and again, back to the fan bases, right? What makes the SEC so special? Everybody in the state of Alabama had an opinion of what we should do. Wanting to be able to keep all those people happy, right? So what my focus was doing what was right for our football program, our young men in our program, our future football student athletes, making sure that I was communicating with our leadership for our university, which they were great during the process. And that's what I was concerned about. I wasn't concerned about anything else. And we moved and got it done in 49 hours is when we were able. I sent a tweet out with sometimes people send the Vatican smoke coming out, and I put a little SEC flavor on it and had one of the local barbecue joints with the smokestack with the smoke coming out. So that's what we did.
Did it help to have a dad who had made hire?
There we go. I mean, that was huge right there.
Yeah, Greg Byrne definitely said a mouthful, but I think he just kind of banked on what a lot of people know. First off, Kellen DeBoer is a great recruiter. I remember when he first got here, and everybody was saying that he would not be able to recruit at the level that Nick Saban was able to recruit at. But now we fast forward into year 3, looking at these past 2 recruiting classes, having back-to-back nationally ranked recruiting classes. I think that just speaks volumes about the type of leader he is, getting those kids to play, want to play for him. And then you look at just the players he got to follow from Washington to Alabama. You're talking about Josh Cuevas. You're talking about Parker Brailsford. You're talking about Jeremy Bernard. Those were 3 of the most productive players on the roster over the past 2 seasons. So, number one, I think that is another added incentive to Kellen DeBoer's time at Alabama. Obviously, a lot of Alabama fans are not trying to see what word I want to say. Are not pleased with how the first 2 years have gone. I mean, but first year, obviously, adjusted, moving in and stuff. They went 9-3, missed the playoffs. Second year, got to the playoffs, won the first round game, played in the SEC championship. No, the SEC championship ain't go the way most Alabama fans wanted. But getting the monkey off your back of winning a playoff game, number one. You look at some coaches around college football that have been at their respective places over time. Like, for example, Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning at Oregon. He just won his first playoff game, I believe, this year versus Texas Tech. I mean, then they ran into the same animal that Alabama ran into, and that's Indiana. And we saw what happened. Indiana was just head and above shoulders better than everybody, but that was what it was. But, I mean, you look at the coaching landscape in the SEC, some of the coaches that a lot of people were clamoring over and people saying the board should have been fired. You look at Lane Kiffin at LSU, for example. Lane Kiffin, he don't even have a playoff win under his belt. I mean, he could have had one this year with Ole Miss, but, he did what he wanted to do. He took his talent to Baton Rouge, and now he wrote himself a check there. He's going to have to cash it this year. But, still the same. I definitely think that a lot of thinking went into Kellen DeBoer being in the position that he's in. Obviously, Greg Byrne said he consulted with Nick Saban. So anybody that got a problem with the Kellen DeBoer era, if you got a problem, you can just blame. I mean, I'm not saying blame Nick Saban, but if you're going to say Nick Saban is how great as he is, and we all know that he's the greatest coach of all time, college football Hall of Famer. So if you're going to say that, then just sounds like to me that you're blaming Nick Saban too. And that's kind of crazy to me. So, with that being said, Nick Saban gave him the write-off on it, and they made the move. And like I said, it takes time. I mean, obviously, in Nick Saban's last couple years at Alabama, the team was still dominant and stuff like that, but there was still some things, underlying problems in the program. And I wrote about this earlier this offseason, just some of the cracks in the foundation of the program. I mean, those cracks are not necessarily tied to Nick Saban. I mean, it's a lot of just some coaching changes and stuff like that, because obviously when you have success at Alabama, other programs are going to want to pick off of your plate. They're going to want to get some of your stuff like that. And we saw that with the strength and conditioning coach. He went to Georgia in 2019. Alabama won their last national championship in 2020. So I think some of the cracks started there. And then you see just some of the losses that they took from a personnel standpoint and stuff like that. I mean, those cracks were bound to happen. And, Nick Saban, he kicked the can down the road as long as he could. And, it was just time to hang it up. And, with him endorsing Kalen DeBoer, like I said, I have no problem with that. If Nick Saban says it's good and we talking about football, I'm going to listen. And I'm going to listen to Nick Saban anyway because Nick Saban a businessman. If we talking about business, I'm going to listen. But for him, because he could have said no, and he didn't say no. So with that being said, I think all Alabama fans, sometimes you never know what you got until it's gone. And luckily, Kalen DeBoer is here. A lot of people wanted him gone, but he's still here. He's still embracing the challenge of leading his Alabama football team. So I'm definitely looking for some brighter skies for Kalen DeBoer as we move forward into the 2020-26 season. I definitely think that over time, him getting his fingerprint on the program now for a third year, getting engraved into the sand and, laying the foundation that he wants. And we've seen that this offseason, bringing in a new offensive line coach, hiring the new AD yesterday. Some of the personnel moves that they made on the up top with some of the control coaches and stuff like that. Some of the coaches that don't even get talked about. I mean, he's bringing his guys in. He's bringing his types of players in. And, Rome wasn't built overnight. Everybody look at Alabama like it was a mansion. Yes, it was a mansion, but the foundation of the mansion has problems. I mean, you look at some of the best buildings in the world that are architected and stuff like that. They can't stay the best forever unless you, over time, you put in more work in the foundation. You put in more work in the wall. You put in a new ceiling roof here, for example. You put in a new coffee table in there or something like that. So I feel like Kalen DeBoer has done that. It might not have been at the rate that Alabama fans wanted to, but I feel like those changes we'll start to see the effects of those changes this year as he officially gets for example, at the quarterback position, he inherited Jalen Milroe. Nothing wrong with Jalen Milroe or nothing like that, but that's not a quarterback that Kalen DeBoer ever recruited. He inherited Ty Simpson. Nothing wrong with Ty Simpson. I think both quarterbacks are great. I think Jalen Milroe will get his chance in the NFL at some point, and I'm I'm excited to see where Ty Simpson will go in the NFL draft this year. But with that being said, none of those quarterbacks were recruited by Kalen DeBoer. Now he's getting his quarterback under center this year, whether that's Austin Mack or Keelan Russell. So it starts at the head. That's the head of the snake, and that's just an example just to see how within 2 years he's just now getting his type of athletes on the field. He's just not getting his positional players on the field. He's just not getting his coaches in the boxes, on the sidelines and stuff like that. So, things take time. So I definitely think that we'll start to see we'll start to see the pluses of those hires that he made, of the players that he's brought in. Of course, you're not going to hit on every hire. You're not going to hit on every player, but he at least should be deserved the chance to see everything out, see everything through. And people were calling for his job last year. That was very foolish to me because, like I said, we haven't even gotten to see his full vision. So we're getting to see that. We're getting closer to that, and hopefully this year we could, we can get more than a sneak peek because we got a couple sneak peeks this past year. So I'm just looking for the best. I mean, everybody negative. I'm positive. I mean, but we'll see. Time always gonna tell. So we gotta let time tell. People gotta stop being so premature with how they view stuff and stuff like that. So, but we will see.
That's why we tell people around here, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, because that's just a huge no-no. You got to play it cool. Just play it cool. That's all you got to do, everyone.
Yeah, but, obviously with Indiana, who Alabama lost to last, obviously with Coach Ignetti doing what he did at Indiana in year 2, that ramps things up a lot. You look at the NFL level, the two coaches that was in the Super Bowl, Coach Mike McDonald and Coach Vrabel, both of them was first and second year head coaches. So, the dynamic of time, I don't think it's just the Alabama fan base. I think it's a lot of the Alabama fan base, but I don't just think it's the Alabama fan base. I think it's a lot of fan bases in sports now. They think they can get overnight fixes, but sometimes the best things in life take time. And I've had to teach myself that. I'm still in my 20s. I've had to teach myself that. So the best things take time. So give Kalen DeBoer time.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to do is give it a lot of time. And of course, we've got a lively chat tonight. You got some you got some compliments on the new mic, my guy.
Don't make me grin. Don't make me grin. But my grin went away when I seen that Auburn logo. But hey, man, I appreciate you, Mike Duncan, Auburn. Yeah, I just got this mic yesterday for my birthday. It sounded real good. I've been able to play around with it and get the amps up to the volume level that I wanted to. So I'm definitely appreciative of that. I definitely appreciate your comment. All fandom aside, Alabama fan, Auburn fan, put that aside. I definitely appreciate you, man, and thank you for watching the show. Thank you for tuning in tonight. It definitely means a lot to us to see that our viewers are interacting with us. We definitely appreciate that for sure. So thank you. And anybody else that's watching, feel free to hit that like, comment, or subscribe button. We definitely appreciate that. We definitely want to continue to grow the show so we can bring the news that we bring to you as vividly, as fastly, as rapidly as we do. And Hey, Godfather, how you doing? He said I had to watch my dog today. Hey, man, I got my dog over there in the other room, so they kind of waiting for me to get off the show. But I gave him some treats before I came in here, so definitely appreciate you, Godfather, for your comment as well.
Oh, there we go. Well, I will say we've got some more topics on this show tonight for sure, and one of those topics is about Marquise Mays, former wide receiver. Man, like he's been he's not too happy with the staff at the moment. Like, wow.
Yeah, just add him to the list, man. But no, I mean no disrespect to Mr. Marquise Mays. Obviously, he's during his time at Tuscaloosa, he was a fan favorite. He was somebody that was dependable, who can make plays. He outplayed his 3-star status, and he made some things happen in his college career and stuff like that. So I definitely mean our respect to him. But today I wrote an article about it because I have been seeing the tweets over the last couple of weeks and stuff like that, just like much of the Alabama fan base has. And, it's been a lot of back and forth on Twitter just about what does he mean by that? What specific players is he talking about that? Is he talking about is he taking shots at the board directly? And, I don't think he is. I mean, I just think that he came up under the Saban way, and he saw how Nick Saban recruited, and not to say Nick Saban hasn't taken chances on players that are underrated, because he definitely has, but Kalen DeBoer tends to do it more frequently a little bit, and obviously we've seen that in his first 2 years in Tuscaloosa, but I think it's worked out pretty well. I mean, I would like to see somebody try to argue that point, because, like, for example, we saw Lashir Brooks, a 3-star receiver from New Jersey. We saw him pop out, and we saw him save the Crimson Tide in the college football playoffs. We saw how dependable he was down the stretch of the regular season, making a clutch catch versus Missouri, making clutch catches against real SEC defenses, giving Ty Simpson options when some of the receiving game was banged up, like Jeremy Bernard and Isaiah Horton, when Ryan Williams was going through his slumps and stuff like that. So, I definitely think that method of recruiting works. It just depends on who the athlete is, because, some people are underrated. But the point I made in my argument today, I was just really just talking about talking about how Mays said Alabama's offering anybody, and I think a lot of that, people can say that, but I think a lot of that has to do with the roster limits being changed. A lot of people don't know that the NCAA expanded the room on every roster in college football. It used to be 85 players. Now it's 104 players, 106 players. It's between there. But that's an additional 21, 22 spots. And obviously Kalen DeBoer is trying to fill out that roster with different types of players that have different types of skill sets that that you can develop and mold and stuff like that. And for example, Mays was just like he put out a tweet the other day. He was just saying, "What is Alabama doing?" He said, "What's the direction? What is the hype behind some of these signings?" And it's hard for me to put a finger on exactly who he was talking about. But in my article, I kind of had a good sense a little bit. You look at the 2 receivers that they signed out of high school in this past recruiting class, 2026 recruiting class. Obviously, he's not talking about Cedarian Morgan. Cedarian Morgan fits the bill, being 6'5", 215 pounds, over 1,400 yards. But you look at the two other receivers that they offered. We're talking about 3-star in Aubrey Walker. We're talking about another 3-star in MJ Mathis. Both 3 stars. Both had modest numbers, but they were respectable. MJ Mathis had over 1,000 yards, had 11 touchdowns, had about 65 receptions from Houston County High in Georgia, and Aubrey Walker, in-state product at Moody High. He had about 29 receptions for 498 yards, I believe. I don't got the numbers right in front of me right now, but it was around that ballpark, and he had about I think it was 6 touchdowns. I'm not sure. But yeah, I feel like he was talking about those two specifically because Mays was also saying that the players that they offered didn't really dominate at their high school level. They weren't the focal points of their offense and stuff like that. But, with that being said, I mean, I feel like that's where development kicks in. We see Kalen DeBoer is a developer of young men. He's a developer of talent. He has a keen eye for talent. I mean, he can see farther than both of me and Jackson combined when we're looking at football talent. So I tend to take his word on what he deems to be a good football player, what he deems to be a good fit for the Alabama football program. So, I mean, of course, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. It's America, I'm never gonna down talk nobody's opinion because you might have a strong way you feel for that. And obviously, Mays played the game of college football, and me and you didn't. So
No.
we could be wrong, but really, in my article, I just wrote about trying to say, y'all bear with me. I'm trying to get to the point. I'm trying to get to the point so I don't belabor my point. But I really said if Mays is right, in his regard of Alabama just offering anybody, we'll see later down the road. And what I mean, we'll see later down the road, we'll see in player development, if it's stalled development, we'll see in some player exits. If the players that they have offered don't work out, particularly, I don't think he was pinpointing those two in particular, but the timing of the tweets and the timing of those players being signed, they are pretty on par with each other. So I use those two as my main examples in the study case. But I said, like, if Mays is right, like I said, it'll be stalled development. It'll be some transfer portal exits. It'll be it'll be a roster of just maybes and stuff like that. We won't get any validity out of those type of players. But I also flipped it to the Kalen DeBoer side. If the Kalen DeBoer is right, that'll just show that he's able to find diamonds in the rough. He's able to develop. Like I said, Kalen DeBoer is a great developer of football players, and I truly believe that. I mean, nobody's paying me to say that. I truly believe that. And I've seen it with various players on this roster. And I think we're going to see it a lot this fall. So with that being said, if Kalen DeBoer is right, that's just going to continue to prove that his method is working. But obviously Mays played under Nick Saban. So with that being said, he's used to a certain way. He's used to the standard, being the standard, getting the best of the best. And there's nothing wrong with that. I want the best of the best in life too. I want the best of the best with my football team. But, sometimes the best, you can't get everybody. So you got to find outliers. And I definitely think that players like Aubrey Walker and players like MJ Mathis can be outliers. Will it happen this year? Who knows? But it could definitely happen down the line. Those are two talented players that, given the right situation, and I spoke on this the other week when we were talking about Kalitha Keith, another player that Mays could be talking about. Kalitha Keith, obviously, the running back from Tennessee and Appalachian State. He only got one career touchdown in 3 years, and but before that, he was one of the top running backs in the state of Alabama coming out of the high school level. So, football is a situational game, and I think if you get players in the right situation with the right coaches around them who take chances on them, who believe in them, that's going to bring out the best in those type of players. So, Obviously, you want a more proven commodity, somebody that you know that's gonna ball wherever you put them. But at the end of the day, you got to take chances. That's just like in life. You got to take chances. If you strike out, you strike out. But if you don't take the chance, you'll never know. You miss every shot that you don't take, automatic miss. You never know. So you got to take those type of shots. And I think that Kellen DeBoer is taking those type of shots in the way that he recruits, the way that he the way that he recruits, the way that he develops, and it's worked before. It just hasn't worked at the national championship level at Alabama. And that just goes back to our last statement, our last segment. Things take time. So we will see. I mean, will it materialize in 2026? We don't know. It could materialize. It could not materialize, but we will see. But my message to that is you got to take a chance. So to wrap that up, really, like I said, respect to Marquise Mays, definitely a Bama legend. Not taking shots at him at all, but I definitely felt like I had to just throw that out there today, and that inspired me to write. I'm always looking for different angles as a writer, and this conversation is definitely going to be brought back up again, and it's going to be brought back up on the forefront of production. So if those two players and the other players that are underrated on this Alabama football roster, if they turn out to exceed what their rankings were at the high school level, that means somebody going to be wrong, somebody going to be right, and we will see. So, but if not, then Mays got all right. He got all right. If we can get him to come on this show, hey, he got all right.
Oh, that'll be a win right there. Like, because it's
Yeah. I was joking, but no, for real, we can get him to come on this show and just explain his point furthermore. That'd be great. I mean, I'm willing to admit I'm wrong. I'm willing to admit, hey, I mean, I don't think I wasted my time writing that today because that's just something we can look back later in the future and just see who was right, who was wrong, what point was castrated, this and that. And a lot of writers had took the time out this off season to outside of writing on X, writing their points. So I kind of just collaborated it all together and put into an article. So we'll see. But like I said, time is the best teller. Time is the best teacher. So time gonna tell everything. I could look like a fool writing all that stuff today down the line in 6 months, or I could be like, hey, I did highlight a different dynamic that a lot of people didn't see. So I mean, but hey, I ain't scared. I'll be right. I'll be wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'm happy to come on here. I'll take my hat off. I'll tell everybody, hey, I was wrong. So, I mean, it is what it is. We'll see. But
there you go.
Like I said, all respect to Mays, but in all respect to all parties involved, we'll see. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, because I mean, I would love to hear what he's got to say in person, because it's like, I mean, it's nice looking at the tweets and all that, but I mean, it's like, it would be pretty cool to hear what he's got to say in person, because I mean, he is a Bama legend after all.
Yeah, and plus with the tweets, I mean, even if you got the verified Twitter, you only get a certain amount of characters, so it's definitely more left to be said. So we'll definitely see, but yeah, like I said, time. Time, time will tell.
Yep, there we go. And of course, we like to kind of tell everybody to come on in and become a YouTube member of Alabama at the Voice of College Football. Especially for $2.99 a month, you can become a Crimson Faithful member, where you'll have a loyalty badge next to your name in the comments and in the live chat, and you get member shout outs all over the place. And that's just by becoming a Crimson Faithful member for $2.99 a month. And for $4.99 a month, you can become a Saber Disciple, where you'll have a priority replies to comments and access to a monthly hangout from yours truly, Jackson Johnson, Jeffrey Only Talk Sports, and Travion Ware, all right here. And for $9.99 a month, you can become a Bear Bryant legend, where you can connect on social media with each of us and give out content requests of any kind. Neither rain nor sleet nor snow nor the weird weather of Alabama will put a stop to us from fulfilling your content request, all right here. And of course, if you're looking for that early Easter gift or a little something for spring break, we've got the merch store all right here on Alabama at the Voice of College Football. We've got it all right here. We've got the hats. We've got the sweatshirts, because once again, that weird weather, the heavyweight t-shirt, the polo shirt, that guy's looking good for spring break. He's like, I gotta look my best.
Yeah, most definitely. We got everything that you need on the Alabama channel at the Voice of College Football. If you need something just to lounge around in the house, we got it. If you need something to work out in, we got it. You need something to run up to the grocery store and put on, we got it. You need something just to wear, You could be going anywhere just to wear it. We got it. I mean, we got all different shades, all different sizes, unisex, men's, women's, children. You're looking for something to put your drink in as you go to work, we got it. Like I said, so it definitely would be appreciated if anybody interested would tap in just to see what we have. It helps us make a buck, and it gets you fly, it gets you right. So definitely tap in and see what we got, and we definitely appreciate that in advance.
Agreed, no doubt about it, because we've got it all right here on Alabama with the Voice of College Football. See what I mean? When you're a YouTube member, you get a mention from us all right here. Like Godfather SEC giving out that number one finger. We're number one.
Yeah, man. Godfather, you number one, man. So we definitely appreciate you, man. Always showing up for us, always tuning in, always giving us a like, always giving us a comment, and you've been subscribed. So we definitely appreciate it, and many others that are watching on this Tuesday evening.
Agreed. Like you are one of the OG members of Alabama at the Voice of College Football. So we always appreciate you coming in, and we always appreciate the call-ins Thursday night. It's always a fun hangout with you, man. Like, no doubt about it. Here we go. And lastly, but not least, we've got some recruiting updates. They include Amir Brown and Duke Duncan. So we're looking ahead to 2027 because we've got it all. We're set. We're ready to go. And this young man, Amir Brown, is 5'11", 200 pounds, out of Rollsville High School in Rollsville, North Carolina, but he's a Nebraska commit. He is one of the many guys looking to come to Alabama, possibly.
Yeah, and this is another player that Kellen DeBoer has his eye on, looking to flip from the Cornhuskers to the Crimson Tide. And you can see why watching film. Obviously, this kid is a powerful kid at his size, 5'11". He doesn't go down on first contact. He relishes contact. He's one of those players that can run the ball inside the tackles, outside the tackles. Obviously, we're seeing the home run ability that he has at his size. Being in the backfield, he definitely looks like he's a player that can help in pass protection. I'm just looking at his speed, man. I'm enamored with the speed already. He's a cardinal direction runner. He's either north or south. He don't do too much dancing. So obviously, Alabama always trying to upgrade talent, always trying to add talent. He kind of reminds me of a young Jam Miller before he got hurt. I mean, Jam Miller dealt with a lot of injuries this past year. That obviously affected his play. But he is of the same size and build as Jam Miller. And Jam Miller might be a little bit smaller. I think he's on the 5'10" side of things. But we're seeing just the aggression that this kid runs with. And I could definitely see why the Cornhuskers already got him locked in on the commitment. But, the more the merrier. If you can get a talent like this in your backfield to develop, to potentially help you run between the tackles, bounce things outside, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. And he got a nose for the goal line. It seemed like every play he's trying to hit his head on the goal post. So you definitely look at those things, and you definitely get excited about those type of things. So obviously he got a potential visit coming up with the Crimson Tide. Very confident that this staff can sell him on coming to Tuscaloosa, giving him the vision on what his potential role could be in the offense in 2027, 2028, 2029, whenever his time comes. But this is definitely a talented kid. Like I said, I'm very happy to see that, he's a player that relishes contact. A lot of players run from contact. He's relishing contact. He's not scared of the first man. He can make the first man miss, whether that's with his feet or with his power. So definitely excited to see how this situation can develop a potential flip on our hands. If we do get him being able to flip, we'll definitely be talking about it. We'll definitely bring that news to you whenever that comes. Whatever update comes with that, good or bad, we'll bring it to you. So we definitely will be having our eye on Amir Brown, 2027 running back for sure.
And we'll definitely be keeping our eye on a 2027 defensive lineman named Kavarius Duke Duncan, as he's gotten a lot of offers from Jacksonville State, Tulane, South Alabama, and Arkansas State. But the dream offer is Alabama, as he tells Brody Smoot at Crimson Coverage that only if they knew what I would do to get to Bama. He grew up an Alabama fan and is working hard to put himself in the best position to earn an offer. He's going to visit Mississippi State on March 24th. He's got multiple visits scheduled to Tulane and South Florida. So he's got some pretty big stats, like 90 tackles, 7 sacks, 20 tackles for loss, and 3 forced fumbles. And we've got his junior season highlights from Huddle, as we've got them all right there. And oh, he's mean. Oh my God, he's dragging him down.
It already pops off the film that he's one of those violent defenders, and that's what you like to see immediately. Not keeping us waiting. Obviously, if you get an offer from Alabama, that's going to be one of his. That's going to be his biggest offer, because you just said Tulane, you just said Jackson State, you just said South Alabama, and those are mid-tier schools. Alabama is a power school, Power 5 school, one of the top school in college football in terms of that. So one of the top schools. So getting a kid like this who's hungry, who wants to come, getting people that want to come nowadays is also important. I mean, you got players that just want to come from the money, but he wants to be there. And you see his ability to be able to shed blocks. He can line up on the outside. Looks like he can be a 3 technique player. He can put his hand in the ground, but he can stand up if he needs to. He's one of those run stoppers that, very physical at the point of attack. And, seeing what he can do on film, he's standing a lot of people up. He's somebody that the interior, the offensive line definitely might want to double team. So, and these are just his junior stats. And we saw he had 3 forced fumbles. We saw he had over 90 tackles. So he's a very productive player. One of those underrated players, like I just spoke about earlier, one of those underrated players that, just takes the right eye to see you. And that's just like in life. You need the right people to see you for you to really get the value that you deserve. And if he can get Kalen DeBoer to see what we are seeing on film, and I'm pretty sure Kalen DeBoer has, because like we said, he got a keen eye for talent. But being able to get in the backfield the way that he does, with the speed that he has, the rushing ability that he has, the bends and stuff like that, I definitely see a lot of tools that Kane Wormack that could potentially work with, a lot of tools that Freddie Roach could potentially work with. So, I'm definitely monitoring his situation, definitely wanting to see how that visit turns out. But you could definitely see why he was able to pique some of the interest that he has at the mid-tier level and stuff like that. He's probably like a gold ticket for them. I bet if he go to one of them schools, he'll be able to start immediately. I mean, obviously, you come to Alabama, the competition is very much stiffer. But, the fact that he wants to be here, the fact that he has a lot of promise in his game as a young defender, I think that speaks volumes to the type of keen eye, like I said, this Alabama recruiting staff has when looking at players and stuff like that, to be like, hey, maybe we need to bring this guy in on a visit. So I definitely think that this could potentially materialize into something. And you see the force, like I said, they started at the goal line. They had their own 20. They almost taking them out of field goal range almost. I mean, obviously that's not that far though. You can kick. But taking them out of scoring drives almost and stuff like that. And just seeing how he's able to collapse the pocket from the outside, from the inside. We just saw him chase down that big run a couple plays ago. How he's able to shed blocks. He's showing how intentional he is. And there we see the effort. Like I said, the play had got past him and he still tracked it down. That's what you like to see out of your young defenders. So I'm definitely excited about Mr. Duke Duncan. Obviously, you got to put another year of tape together to solidify that Alabama offer. But the fact that he is garnering interest and this is his dream school, if you want to make your dreams happen, young man, you got to do some more work. But you already got the attention of the Alabama coaching staff. My dude Brody already reached out to you. Y'all already talking and stuff like that. So you in there. He's taking steps in the right direction. Hopefully, when he comes down and makes the visit this spring, hopefully that visit goes good because, like I said, if Kalen DeBoer likes you, he don't care what nobody else say. He'll take a chance on you. So hopefully, Duke Duncan can get that chance. But I'm very impressed with the young man's film and what we're seeing. Like I said, continuous violence, continuing to be in the backfield. He lives in the backfield apparently. Might call him Mr. Backfield, man. Who knows? But like I said, everything that you want to see on film so far, he's displaying it. I'm seeing multiple tools that can definitely translate in this Alabama defense already. Of course, those tools got to get coached up. You got to put players in the right position. But look at that, literally just the physical violence. So
he's mean.
I can't say enough about him. I feel like if I keep talking about him, I'm probably gonna say I still won't cover some stuff. So you just put it perfectly, Jackson. He's mean. He plays with a mean streak, and we definitely need those type of mean streaks on this Alabama defense in the future. So if you can get a player like that, you grab him. So we'll just see what happens on this upcoming visit this spring. But like I said, very impressed.
Oh yeah, I would hate to be a quarterback going against him.
Oh yeah, me too, man. He just throwing them around like some rag dolls, man. The running back don't get past him. He's like he seems like the type of player. If he gets his hands on you, he might not be able to take him down. I mean, he might not be able to take you down by himself due to the attention that the offensive line pays to him. But he looks like one of those players that he gets his hands on you. You're not going nowhere, and the rest of the defense gonna swarm, and they're gonna get you down. So that's the type of player that fits in the Alabama defense. Kane Warmack loves those type of players, and his intention to stop the run. You look at a lot of defensive linemen and stuff like that. They just trying to get sack numbers and stuff, but he looking to stop the run, and that's a vital part of playing defense for Alabama football. You have to be able to tackle. You have to be able to stop the run. You have to be able to play special teams if needed. We just saw him block a punt right there. So I'm ready to see how that materializes for sure for Duke Duncan. Wishing him the best of luck. Hopefully stuff can materialize this spring.
Oh, we're going to see him play some special teams. There we go.
Yeah, I just spoke on it, man. That's just another added value to his game. The willingness to play special teams. I mean, of course, all football players, that's the quickest way. Everybody knows that if you want to get on the field, you got to be able to play special teams. And the fact that he probably one of the top defensive linemen at his school, and he's willing to play special teams. Some players think that's beneath them and stuff like that. I mean, below them and stuff like that. But the kid just wants to play football. So I'm just excited to see how everything could turn out in these next couple of weeks, months. Could be talking about a potential signing if we a potential commitment and a potential signing for the class of 2027. And if we get that, me and my partner in crime, Jackson, will definitely be here to bring it to you. We'll definitely be here to break it down, give our thoughts, analysis, and potential player projections and stuff like that.
There we go, man. It'll be a fun ride all right here on Alabama at the Voice of College Football. And for more recruiting clips, check us out on Alabama with the Voice of College Football, where you can like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell so you never miss another video clip whatsoever. And, of course, you can give us a listen on Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcast, where if you're going to the grocery store, heading to the gym, or, you want to listen to something at the library, you can always give us a listen on Alabama with the Voice of College Football. Not just give us a watch on YouTube or on X, but also you can check us out via where you can find your podcast at Apple, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Spotify.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate all our streaming platform partners who help us power the show. We wouldn't be nothing without them, so we definitely appreciate them. Definitely want to tap in on all of those platforms. Great platforms to listen to. and we'll continue to keep providing the great content that we do through them. So we definitely appreciate that. But also, Jackson, I want to speak on the hiring Alabama made today on their offensive side of the ball, the offensive side of offensive analyst that they brought in today from USC. I just sent it to you, so let's see if we can get that pulled up for the people real quick so they can know.
Oh, here we go. Brad Oko.
Yeah,
Oh,
Brad Oko. Kellen DeBoer still finding ways to tweak this coaching staff. And like I said, still getting his type of coaches on the staff. So definitely excited about this addition here. Tell you a little bit about Brian Oko. Brian Oko was at Colorado State in 2023. The Rams fielded the top 10 passing attack, number 9 in their the top 10 passing attack, number 9 overall. He was at USC in 2024 and 2025 when the Trojans landed at number 10 offense and number 5 passing attack, respectively. Hasn't been a grad assistant that long, but he's seen what a good passing game is supposed to look like. So you talk about an assistant that's had success in 2 different places. Obviously at Colorado State, that's one of the still Division I football, but it's not the type of football Alabama plays. But when you look at him at USC, he still fielded that. He still got a top 10 offense altogether and the number 5 passing attack in the nation in 2024. So yeah, and you just think about him being with Lincoln Riley and stuff like that, and all the nuances that he was able to take from him as an assistant, because that's the role of an assistant, to continue to learn, to continue to grow. So I'm definitely excited to see what Mr. Ayuko can bring to the Alabama passing game, because especially when you're ushering in a new quarterback, like I said, Keelan Russell or Austin Mack, you definitely want to get them a friendly assistant, a friendly coach that can see what they like in their quarterback, can see what the quarterback does best. And it doesn't hurt to have somebody who's had nationally ranked passing games at both of the places he's been. He had, like I said, hadn't been an assistant that long, but I don't think it's no mistake that he did that twice at 2 different locations. So I'm definitely grading this as a good hire for Alabama. I don't know what exact letter grade I would say, but it's the fact that, like I said, I always look at people's track record and stuff like that. And for him to be a young coach, I think he's still in his 30s, maybe.
Yeah.
Don't got the exact age on it, but for him to have that level of success already, I think that speaks volumes. So I'm happy that he's added to the Alabama coaching staff. Obviously, they just lost Nick Sheridan to Michigan State. Mick Sheridan was the quarterback's coach the year before. He was the offensive coordinator. I mean, Ayoko will be in a smaller role, but he'll be able to help, and he'll be able to help whatever quarterback's under the center. And you always can use an extra hand for sure. I'm pretty sure Ryan Grubb is very elated about this hire, who probably had a hand in it. So definitely excited to see how this materializes for the Alabama passing game in 2026. I already think it could be good before he got here. So now we got him. So definitely ready to see what type of spin he can put on it, what type of added flavor he can add to this passing game. But that just goes to show you Alabama continue to make news when other schools aren't, continuing to find ways to get better. And Kellen DeBoer is continuing to ingratiate himself with his type of coaches. And it's now year 3. I feel like his fingerprint has been on the program now more than ever. So, of course, everybody wants to see results. So I think small moves like this go a long way into getting those results. So we'll definitely be seeing that, and we'll definitely be dissecting the Alabama passing game with Coach Brad Ayuk. I'm botching on the name, man. God, I almost
Brad. Oh man, like Brad, like Coach.
Yeah,
Brad.
yeah. I'm gonna call him Coach Brad. See, that's my fault. See, anybody that knows me in real life knows that I am bad with names. So Jackson know that. So hey, I mean, but definitely excited to see what Coach Brad could potentially bring to the Alabama passing game. and what type of magic he can work with either Keelan Russell or Austin Mack. But just another telltale signing for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Like I said, last week we was just talking about we were just hearing rumors about the new tight end coach. Week before that, it was the offensive line coach. Yesterday it was the what was it? The program
Yeah, we got somebody added to the recruiting staff yesterday.
Yeah. The guy from USC. See, I ain't gonna explain it, y'all. I
Brad,
just told
Brad,
y'all about the name.
yeah,
Y'all gonna stop
Adrian
laughing at me.
Clem.
I know the chat laughing at me. Y'all gonna stop laughing at me because I'm laughing at myself. But no, like I said, just the countless moves that they continue to make, I definitely think that these are calculated moves. So just got to give it the time to calculate. Got to give it the time to marinate. Got to give them the time to do so. That's why I'll be going out this spring to see how spring practices look. I'll be keeping an eye out, keeping my ears to the streets just to see how everything comes together. But I'm definitely excited to when you get a coach like this that has production, has youth, and is looking to learn, looking to expand. And, once you coach at Alabama and stuff like that, you only get better. I mean, I feel like because every coach don't materialize, but you see a lot of schools pecking at the Alabama coaches and getting them to go different places. So definitely excited for Coach Brad.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to be reunited with Adrian Clem, from the
Oh,
USC.
yeah. See? And Adrian Clem played a big part in USC having that top 5 passing attack because he had one of the better offensive lines. So you see, everything ties together. That's why I said everything is calculated. Everything is calculated with calendar board. That's something I can respect the most. When you got a coach that is very calculated, very intentional with what he's doing, all you can do is trust that it's going to work out. But
True.
It's already proven that it's a lot of cohesion in what he's doing. So, like I said, just got to let the man work. I'm always say that. Anybody asks me on the street, I got people back home in Dallas, Texas, talking about that coach gonna get fired if he don't do this or that. I'm like, hey man, just let it play out. We'll see. And if I'm wrong, I'll tell you I was wrong. But we will see.
There you go. I mean, that's what we'll do here, all right here on Alabama, the voice of college football. When we're right, we let you know. When we're wrong, we'll let you know. That is for sure.
Yeah. Either way, we're gonna let you know. Ain't running from no smoke.
Agreed. And we'll give a quick shout out to Ryan Williams for a few seconds. He's getting married, so it's congrats, I guess. But we'll there you go. I mean, it's like that wasn't a headline I was expecting this week, but I guess he proposed on Valentine's Day or something like that. I mean,
that's nothing that I had on my bingo card specifically. I had seeing some rumblings. Knew he had a girlfriend and stuff like that. I mean, but and as you should and stuff like that. We young. I mean, I'm still young myself. I'm still trying to find me a girlfriend. But no, the fact that he made his proposal, I got some reserved comments about that. But you can't do nothing but be happy for people. These are people's lives. These are people make their own decisions. You never know what a person sees in a person. So that's why I just take this time out just to congratulate Ryan Williams and stuff like that. You got people on X, they're going to say whatever, this or that. I reserve my comments because, like I said, my life ain't all together. So and you only live once. So we'll see what happens. But, we're looking for that Ryan Williams to have a dynamic junior year, a bounce back junior year. And if this plays a part in it, if this is what God had planned for him, we'll be there to talk about it. But that's pretty much all I got on that. Congratulations.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like, I hope it works out for him, it's like, but we'll definitely
being that young and stuff. At 19, man, I was just trying to but his 19 and my 19 different. I was in college just trying to pass classes and uphold myself, get a car, stuff like that. Had a girlfriend at the time and stuff like that. I mean, I wasn't thinking about marriage though, but I ain't had the money to. He got the money. See, so
Yeah.
that's different. We live in two different worlds. So all you can do is congratulate.
Yeah.
Anybody that hate, let them hate. But I'm gonna congratulate. So
Oh yeah. There we go. I mean, it's like it's what we can do. We can congratulate him and show support for our guy. That's for sure. Oh man. Well, what magic have you got cooking this week at Bama Hammer, man?
man, I got some good stuff going on, man. I got a potential story about Alabama, the 3 do's and the 3 don'ts for the Alabama football 2026 season. 3 things that Alabama have to harvest on to be successful, and 3 things that they have to get away from. In life, you got rules. Rules are there to keep you grounded, but those same rules can apply to football. In football, you got rules. You got 3 things. I mean, it's 3 things that I pinpointed, but you got certain things that you have to bank on. I mean, that you have to hit on. And you got certain things that can be a detriment to your success. Obviously, Alabama looking to get back to that college football playoff and rewrite that story. So, with that being said, I've formulated a list of 3 things that they need to do and 3 things that they should stay away from. And if you want to check out my stories, you can check me out on X at T1K. My link's in my bio. My stories are pretty accessible. You don't got to scroll down too far to go and see a story because I post stories every day. I write like a maniac. You'll see stuff and stuff like that. Regardless of people like them or not, I'm still continue to put out this content that I do. I mean, gotta feed my family too. Got to drive my career up. But yeah, it's a lot of good stuff I got going on. Other countless stories. I got me a idea board in my room set up. So I just got to check off, see what I like, what dynamic I can write from. Trying to be different, trying to separate myself in this sports journalism game and just show that I can look at things from a different perspective than other people can. So like I said, if you could give me a follow, that'd be great. If not, if you just want to tap in and look at some articles too, that'd be great. Feel like I'm producing some good stuff at Bama Hammer. You can check out Bama Hammer. The links the to that page is on my bio as well. And we definitely appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it, me personally. And thank you.
All we can tell you is tell your friends, your family, and the cashiers at Publix about the magic that Trevion brings, all right here on Alabama at the Voice of College Football and right there on Bama Hammer at Fansided. He brings magic all over the place. Let me tell you, you're going to be in for a good time for a long time. Trevion Ware and myself, Jackson Johnson, where I will be having episode 99 of the Jackson coming soon with Jeff Sharon at the SB Nation site of Central Florida, where we're going to be talking a little bit about Central Florida and much more in college football and, a little bit of college basketball as well. But also you can check me out on SEC at the Voice of College Football, where yesterday I was joined by Brandon Olson of Locked On Gators, where we talked a little bit about the Florida Gators for spring practice, the NFL draft, combine, and much more. And for more updates, what I've got going on, the Jackson, Alabama at the Voice of College Football, or SEC at the Voice of College Football, check me out on Jacksonville UCFB on @/Twitter and on Instagram and threads, Jackson Johnson 543. 908. And with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell so you never miss no video whatsoever. And we will see y'all soon. And roll Tide.
Good night, everybody. Appreciate you watching.